Hi, everyone. Thank you for stopping by today. I'm Renee Garrett-Storrs here at Recruit Military, where we empower the military community through meaningful career opportunities. Before I welcome our guests, I want to take a moment to highlight an exclusive hiring event for our military spouses. In partnership with Soldier for Life, we are hosting a military spouse hiring event on May 5th from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. Eastern and 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern. Here's a quick video about the event.
If you are an active duty, reserve, or National Guard military spouse, we want to thank you for your dedication and support. In the U.S. Army, we are committed to your professional and personal development. That's why we want to invite you to the Military Spouse Virtual Fair on May 5th, 2022, from 11 o'clock a.m. to 3 o'clock p.m. You will learn strategies to help you get a job, along with the opportunity to be interviewed live by one of the company representatives looking for employees at this fair. Do not miss this opportunity. There are positions to work remotely and face-to-face in the United States and Europe. Mark your calendar for the Military Spouse Virtual Fair on May 5th, sponsored by Recruit Military and U.S. Army Soldier for Life.
Again, this event is an opportunity to network with employers who have flexible, transferable, and remote jobs available to spouses in the military community. We are also offering a professional development coaching session with MSEP, the Military Spouse Employment Partnership, before the career fair tomorrow on April 28th at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm going to have my colleague Veronica drop those details into the chat for you, and we look forward to virtually seeing you at the event. Today, I'm ecstatic to welcome back our guest, Susan Lee. Susan is a woman empowerment and leadership content creator. She is currently living Oconus in Ramstein, Germany, with her active duty husband and her two dogs, Rue and Tashi. Hope I said that correctly. I am appreciative of her time, and I'm looking forward to our chat with her and with all of you. So, welcome back, Susan.
Hi, thanks for inviting me back.
We'd like to know where you're connecting to us from today, so please drop a hello along with your current location into the chat. Sharing and engaging is always welcomed. So, okay, Susan, let's chat. Today we are talking about military spouses who identify as a professional and who are looking to advance their careers even when they are employed or underemployed. I am anxious to get your perspective on a few things, so I'll start. I'm going to start with this. Spouses are advised to volunteer to keep up their skills or to get another degree or certification to upskill. While volunteer work gives them the opportunity to serve their communities, build their network, and for me personally, it's that give back. If it is something that is not necessarily relevant to their background, how else can our military spouses advance their career and build their skills?
Yeah, so that's a great question. When it comes to volunteering, and this is me speaking as a former nonprofit professional where I work with volunteers all the time, and I was a volunteer myself, think strategically about where and how you're volunteering. So I'll share a quick example by using my own story. When I first PCS to Fort Drum, for those of you who may not be familiar with Fort Drum, it's middle of nowhere, way upstate New York. There isn't a lot out there, period, but I was still able to find a couple nonprofits that I felt connected to. One was a science museum, and another one was the local SPCA. And I started off by volunteering with them, but rather than just signing up for whatever they needed as a volunteer, I reached out directly to the executive directors and I asked them, what are some problems or challenges that you're facing right now that still need to be solved? And I leveraged my nonprofit background and other leadership types of experience that I've had and project management experience that I've had to collaborate with them and come up with pro bono consulting opportunities. So rather than viewing it as volunteering, as giving away free work, I positioned it as myself as a consultant. So I had to get really creative in the way that I thought about using that time but still able to give back to my community.
And I appreciate you volunteering for the SPCA, something near and dear to my heart. And I can definitely identify with what with you utilizing volunteer experience. For me, it opened a door to something I had not known about previously, and I had a little bit of an intro to social media and marketing, and through that, it's correlated over to what I do here at Recruit Military. So I certainly appreciate that share. Now, I might be aging myself, but many of us were taught to go to school and earn a degree as that would secure a good job. I can still see that conversation with my father. Knowing the landscape has shifted, we see that this is not how the world is really working anymore. So, what are some ways our spouses can advance their careers and and their earning potential, Susan?
Yeah, so I'm also a proud millennial. I'm in my mid 30s, so I definitely can resonate with this. As the daughter of immigrant parents, I was taught same thing: go to school, get good grades. My mom wouldn't even let me do the laundry at home because she wanted me to study. So in college, when I did my first load of laundry, everything turned out blue. So I learned how to do laundry the hard way. But yeah, so I got my degree and I got the job, and then when I became a military spouse, as many military spouses with a career can relate to, I couldn't really continue on that track because we were constantly PCSing. And what I realized was that I had to get creative again in how I'm going to position myself as a thought leader, as someone who can offer more than just what I can do as a volunteer. And so there are two other ways that I think you can consider if you want to build authority and build your personal brand without relying on someone hiring you or getting another degree. But I first want to make this disclaimer. I am in no way saying that degrees are useless and that it's a waste of time and money. Not at all. I hold multiple degrees. I come from an education background. But what I am saying is that there's more than one way to proceed with what you want to accomplish. And so, two specific ways that I would consider thinking about in terms of building your thought leadership, which would also raise your earning potential. First is freelance work. Um, Really focusing on being paid to think rather than being paid to do something. So if you have experience with, let's say, project management, that is a skill that you can really be transferable to any industry. There's a lot of leadership that comes with that. Thinking about how can you leverage that in an industry that you are excited about. And that is also a way to take more control of your schedule, because with freelance work, you can pick and choose the projects that you want to work on. Um, I am going to recommend a military spouse named Laura Briggs. She's a freelance thought leader and a military spouse entrepreneur. She was highly vetted by a military spouse friend of mine. So I would check out her website. She's got tons of great resources for those of you who are interested in freelance work. And the other part is how to build thought leadership and your personal brand. And a really easy, free way that you can do this right now is by creating content. So I'm not saying you need to be an Instagram baddie influencer, okay? So you can all go on LinkedIn. You can write an article on LinkedIn for free. If you want to maybe monetize your writing, you can join medium.com for free. Those are really great places to start writing about topics that you're really passionate about, something that's just been like stuck in your brain for a while, and put it out there. And over time, as you continue to do this and make yourself known, people will start to look at you as an authority. And my favorite way to think about this is repetition is reputation. So the more you keep doing it and the more you keep focusing on a niche, try not to be too broad. Think about, who am I trying to serve? Why does that matter? And what is the result that I'm after? People will gravitate towards you and start seeking you out as that thought leader. And that's when more opportunities will come and paid opportunities will come as well.
And I have seen that in your professional growth and journey, being able to follow you for the last few years since our time together in a previous program. So impressed with what you're doing. And I would say we will drop it in here momentarily. If you haven't connected yet on LinkedIn with Susan, make sure that you do. So she's a great example of what she just spoke to and about. Um, I forgot, at the very beginning, we touched on a word and it was underemployment. And I know we talked about it previously, but for those joining us today, in your own words, Susan, what does underemployment mean to you?
Yeah, so underemployment, which affects 1 in 3 military spouse professionals who are employed, so different than unemployment.
Hmm.
Underemployment is that they are employed, but they're being underutilized based on the skill set that they bring. So for someone, for example, who's on track to be a manager or a director, might be in an entry level role. And I think that's also a misconception that we fall for. We hear that, oh, if you want a career, you need to start over, you need to go into a new industry, go look into tech, right? So like these are the kind of the advice that we hear. But I implore you to take a moment and pause and really think about, what do you want, and set those non-negotiables, because you don't have to take the same path as everybody else. You do not have to start over. And I'm a living example of that. But I will say that it took me a long time, longer than I'd like to admit, to figure that out. And I know that I would have gotten there faster if I leaned on my community more. So I want you to know that there are other professionals and military spouses out there who want to grow the way that you want to grow and really have agency over your life.
And having that confidence within yourself and being okay to embrace the change. What I went to school for, I only had a minute time. I only had a little bit of time to do so because landscape had shifted. There was a shortage. There were too many teachers in demand at one point, and it was very competitive. So I had to shift, and I'm so glad that I did, because I don't think I'd be sitting here right now today with this organization if I hadn't reevaluated myself throughout the journey and taken a look at everything collectively and learned to build and expand the network out. So I resonate a lot with your story as well. I'm going to shift over for just a second. I just want to see some of the comments that have come in. I've noticed that my teammate Veronica has gone in and dropped the URL for you, Susan, which I appreciate. Again, you definitely would want to connect with her. We have spouses today joining us from Ocala, Florida, and Pennsylvania. And there seems to be some great interest here with the upcoming event. So thank you all who have joined with us. Appreciate it. And I'm getting a little bit of a giggle here that you used the word Instagram baddie. So I've only heard baddie a few times from my 13-year-old, so I can certainly appreciate it. And now I understand the context to utilize it as well.
Yeah. So I think that's the thing, is there's this, so as I've been a content creator for about a year now. So there was a huge learning curve and really understanding, like, what is this world of content creation? And I think what I initially thought was, oh, do I have to be an Instagram influencer and like dance on TikTok to be to like build thought leadership, or do I have to have 10,000, 100,000 followers on LinkedIn for people to take me seriously? And what I've learned over time is that it's so much more than that. And oftentimes what can hold me back, and especially as a recovering perfectionist and overachiever and people pleaser, which I'm always working on every day, is, well, I'm not an expert. Like, who am I to say, like, tell people what to do? And what I've come to is that you don't have to think of it as leading with expertise, but leading by example. And so really just owning what you've accomplished and sharing that with others. There's going to be people who benefit from what you share. And if you're not sure what to share, then share your story. Because I found that time and time again, like, that is what people are connected and drawn to. And Renee, earlier you mentioned that, you and I was doing the math the other day. I was like, Renee and I've known each other for like 4 years now.
Is it
And
4 years already?
it's
Oh my
been 4
goodness.
years. And so I'm sure you've noticed, just casually, how much like my my platform and my influence has changed, and it does take years. So if you're thinking like, I don't know, I don't want to spend like wait years to get to that place of feeling like I have authority and influence, well, listen, you're going to live those years regardless. So you might as well take advantage of it. So if you're not sure where to start, this is where you can take control. You can own your story. You can create content. You don't need to wait for anyone's permission. You can do it now.
And I embrace creativity. I have met some of the most incredible people virtually because of their presence, and it's appreciated. And the stories are just remarkable. And, it just, I can't believe it's 4 years. You just said that. And you are not the same person. You're the same Susan, but you've changed. And because of your investment in your time and all that you are doing, we wouldn't be having this conversation today because I sought you out based on the content that you were putting forth on LinkedIn. I'm like, here's an individual, one, who I've always been a fan of, but two, I think needs to come talk with us here at Recruit Military and talk to our military spouse community. So I really appreciate you taking the time today to share. Really. And again, you can follow Susan on LinkedIn for more content on women's empowerment and leadership. Click the little bell so you don't miss any of her posts. I know that I'm following her. And you can also join her email list for insider content and exclusive offerings. I have that as well. We can drop that into the chat if it hasn't been done so already. I see Veronica's been posting links throughout the chat, so thank you, Veronica. While we are going to have to bring today's broadcast to a close, this conversation is going to be ongoing. Susan and I will be reading through your comments on Facebook and here on LinkedIn, and we look forward to connecting with you. So on behalf of Recruit Military, we invite you to announce your presence in the workforce. We are here to offer resources, guidance, and immediate connections to help you advance that professional life. And you want to take the first step by going to recruitmilitary.com. So again, Susan and everybody, thank you so much for stopping by today. All the best. And again, we look forward to virtually seeing you at the upcoming exclusive military spouse hiring event on May 5th. So thank you again, and Susan, and goodbye, everybody. Have a great day today.